anybody who would really care? I mean, it's just a story of a no-name band that didn't do much, and why would anybody want to watch? To me, the story behind all of this goes way back. So I met Frank in middle school. I just started following Jesus. I didn't know much about anything. And he and I befriended over listening to Devo in a ghetto blaster.
Whip it good.
At middle school and junior high, 6th, 7th grade. I was playing, 7th and 8th grade. I was playing drums in the marching band. He was, playing guitar a little bit. He can tell you more of that story, but he taught me my basic drum beat, like how to play on a kit and with pencils in civics class. Well, just do this, do that, because I'd only played marching beats. And we just became fast friends, ended up going to high school together, but that summer I bought my first drum set and Frank and I started a band.
So now that we've gotten together a number of times, we've got some songs we're starting to feel good about. They're starting to develop a bit in our live environment in a warehouse and so forth. But we thought let's get them recorded so we can kind of analyze them a little better in a kind of a cleaner sound. It gets under a microscope a bit and we can see how they play out in a recorded environment. So to do that, we all live kind of far apart, so I'll put some templates together here in my studio, send them to Dave. You can play some drums. I'll play some bass and send them to Frank, and he can play some guitars, and then back here, and then Kim could sing them, and we'll kind of go back and forth. All right, let's make this thing happen, I guess. Get myself a coily thing. Get myself a stringy thing. Plug it in. Get tangled up with other wires. See if I can hear it. All right, let's see what kind of damage we can do. Seems like it's good enough. We select a couple of tracks, highlight them, and get these to Dave. Play drums on them. For Dave.
So, first band I ever saw, Frank took me to go see this band called Millennium, which Paul was in. And I must have been, how old are you then? 13? 12, 13, something like that. And couldn't believe it. I was just like, man, this is so cool. These guys are rocking. And I mean, they were playing through like stereos and stuff for their amplifiers. I mean, nobody had any money, but I just was hooked after that. I was like, man, I want to be in a band. And Frank and I formed this band, New Horizons. And very quickly, somehow I ended up joining that Millennium band. Their drummer quit, and so I jumped in, and Frank jumped in as the sound guy, and we went on this tour when I was like 15, which is ridiculous. That my parents, I look back on it now as a parent, and I think my parents let me travel across the country in a van with a bunch of dudes when I was 15 years old. I think Frank turned 15 on that trip. And so these are my best buds that I spent so much time with.
All right, we're gonna punch that sucker in, because now I hear what I'm humming. Gotta pick up what I'm humming.
Fast forward through high school, Frank and I played together the whole time. Paul would bop in and out. I think he moved back to Ohio for a while. And then when I was in college, and everybody was getting jobs, and Frank got married, and we just all continued to remain friends and play and do these things. And we did a lot of construction together. We were just like close friends. Always with a dream of being some sort of rock and roll band that got signed and was able to travel and make an album in a real studio, and it never seemed to happen. So when it did, finally, with the Mayfair Laundry thing, it was kind of a big deal for us to fly out to Nashville and to make an album in a real Nashville studio, and all of that was that was the dream. That was, whoa, wow, we actually finally did what we were talking about when we were 12 or whatever it was. And so after touring that album for a little bit and the whole thing kind of falling apart, that was a big deal. I mean, I went into a pretty dark place for months after that, probably because my identity was coming from, I'm going to be a musician. And but I knew God was calling me into a different kind of ministry back home, and I knew I couldn't travel, which is one of the reasons that the record company said, well, then you can't be in the band, which I totally get now. Back then, in my 20s, it was like, what, you evil record company?
This love's gonna walk right beside, taking the points, push from behind.
Right, so let's just sing it again.
Well, the rhythm felt so bad that last time that I heard it. I didn't remember it feeling that.
On the whole thing or that last line?
Kind of a whole thing.
Okay, let's just take
But
it
it's
over.
the same as it's been, right?
Yeah, it is. I haven't changed it.
Well, I don't know. It's just so... Okay, I don't know if I'm even feeling it. Okay.
Here we go.
This love's gonna welcome you in, soften your heart, thicken your skin. This love's gonna walk right beside, taking the point, push from behind. It stokes the rebel flame, healing hand can change your name. This love's gonna get to you.
Yeah, I like that one. The first love, you didn't bend that way, but you did the second love, and I just moved that.
It kind of scared me. It was like my voice was way louder when I first started.
Oh, really? Let's listen to that then real quick to make sure everything's good on the speakers.
This
Here's the deal. For me, a Mayfair Laundry Project means healing. It means restoration of friendship. It means putting back together something that was torn apart in a way that we didn't want it to be torn apart, in a way that we all don't regret that we went on and did other things. We regret the way that we went on and did other things. And so if we can come back together and there can be healing within our relationships, and in that process, music comes out of it, then I am all for it. So the last time we played together yesterday, it seemed like a really healing process. There's something about music that, and the music that at least Paul, Frank, and I make together, we don't have to talk much, we understand what people are coming from, and it's just kind of natural.